Hello, so in this video, we're going to do some real life stuff. We're going to do some data analysis. And by this, I mean, most of us always think of of Excel as just a software to do mean, mode, median, summation, and subtractions. But actually, the same software can do a lot. So let's get down to it. So I have my data here that I have been using. So we today we want to do some analysis in a company setup. Perhaps you are there in finance, and then or in data analysis department or reporting and insights. These departments vary. So you're there, but the boss asks you, by the way, I'd want to know, are we charging the correct price? And by that, are our prices affecting the quantity we are selling? So then you need to do some investigation, and then also do our prices affect our profit? Do our prices affect our sales? So those are relationships that can be investigated in this case using the variables that I'm highlighting right now. So the quantity, the profit, and then the unit price. Allow me today just to use the numerical variables. Then perhaps in the next, I'll also show you how to use do you call it, how do you call this one? Is it qualitative data that actually has names? I mean, it's not in numbers. So, but for this video, allow me use numerical variables. So I'll pick the 4 variables. I've just highlighted them. If you want to highlight, of course, you press one variable. Let me just unhighlight. So you highlight one variable, then hold Control, then highlight the rest of the variable that you want to use in analysis. So I'll copy them, then put them in a new sheet. Now that's my variables that I'm going to use for analysis. So now, first of all, I'll do one-on-one linear regression analysis to determine the relationship between these variables. But here we can first have a relationship between price. So let me just write quantity 1, not really quantity, but variable 1, then variable 2. So the first one, we can have the relationship between price and quantity. For economists, they'll tell you that normally the relationship is negative. But I'd want to believe. I don't know that. I don't know what is happening in this company, so we'll have to investigate that. And that's why we bring the aspect of hypothesis. We just assume there's a negative relationship between price and quantity. And then we have sales against profit. Then we have also quantity, actually price against profit as well. Then we also have price against sales. Yes. So the first relationship is our prices affecting the quantities being sold, our sales affecting the levels of profit we are collecting as a company. Do the prices charged on our products affecting our profit levels, and then the prices affecting our sales? So these are 4 different relationships that actually we can come up from this data. Now thereafter, I'll do let me call this is linear one or univariate, just univariate relationship. Relationship. So then thereafter, I'll do an analysis that actually has two or more variables. So for instance, the first one we can come up with here is variable. So dependent, then independent. So these so for instance, I can ask this: what affects our profit? So our prices affect our profits. The sales the level of sales affect our profits, and then the order quantity. So we can write here our profit as the dependent variable. Then we have sales, price, and quantity. We will find this. This is called a multiple regression analysis, where a dependent variable is affected by more than one factors. I mean, for instance, for a school setup, the grades you get is not just affected by the time you spend on reading. Of course, there's more. The hours, of course. I mean, there's a lot of factors that affect. So that's an example of a multiple regression analysis. So yeah, call quantities to quantity. Okay, yeah, no. Yes. So we'll do the 5 relationships. So the first one, let's start with the price against quantity. So you come highlight here. This is price, unit price, against. The other thing also you need to note is that we have variables that are actually not tying up in terms of numbers. So you have to do away with that, so that we ensure there's no any disadvantage we're giving to any variable, so that we don't say that this had fewer observations than the other. That's one of the assumptions you make. So that's when we bring in the assumptions of a regression analysis. So let's do price against quantity. So this is our quantity and this is our price. So we highlight that's for quantity. I mean, that's for price. Then yes, so the two. After highlighting that, actually we never needed to highlight really, but just for the sake, let's go to, now you on top here, you click on data tab, then data analysis. Many times you might find this what is called ribbon not present. If you don't find it, you go to file, then more, then options. After options, now you go to add-ins. It's part of the add-ins. There's something to be added on. Then on the manage side, you ensure it's Excel ads, then you click go. Here you see on my end they're all clicked. Sometimes yours might be this way, so ensure please they're all clicked to add them, because analysis toolpath, that's where it comes from now. So if you click OK, it should be able to appear. You can even refresh and you will see the tab. So you go to data analysis, then click on, you see there are various options here. So you click on regression, then OK. So definitely it will ask you for the y variable. So our y, what affects the other? Our quantities are affecting, our prices are affecting quantity. So in this case, quantity is being affected by the prices. So quantity will serve as the y variable. Then price then will serve as the x variable, what is affecting the other. Then you ensure you click on labels, because you notice my highlighting starts from the top. Then you click on labels. Then you check whether they ask if they want the default confidence level is 95%, but you may want to change maybe to 90%, 80, depending on what actually you want to. Actually, I can put this at 99, so that at least, okay, yeah, we can put it at 99 and see what happens. Then after you do that, the next thing is, where do you want to put your output? Do you want to create a new sheet, or still on the same sheet, paste maybe somewhere for it to be visible? But in this case, I'd want to create a new sheet. So that's what I click on new sheet. Then what do you want to see? I think the rest not that important. So then you click OK. Then boom, we have our output. So how do we know that? So we are investigating between quantity and price. So here you have your output. Now I'll show you how to interpret this output. So you come straight to the coefficient side. That's the first part. Then two, these are the areas actually that are actually like really important. So let me highlight that and then highlight these 4 areas. So now we didn't know, we had made an hypothesis that there's a negative relationship between quantity and price. The more you raise prices, the less quantity is demanded, and that's what brings actually the whole negative relationship. But here we are. So yes, this is now the coefficient. This is negative to show that there's a negative relationship. And if we go to R now, there's a very weak relationship. This multiple R is the correlation coefficient to show you the strength of the relationship. On the coefficients, the coefficients tell you the direction of the relationship, but in R, multiple R, this tells you the strength of the relationship. So in this case, the relationship is very weak. That means the quantity sold is not only affected by prices. There are so many other factors like cultural factors, just mentioned by a few. So that's why it's this week. Perhaps if we had, or perhaps, or the other reason is also the number of the sample size. That's why it's normally advisable in any research you do, you ensure that you have good sample size that will actually give you very strong results. Yes, so we have investigated. So now, after you do this, the next thing they ask you is to now define the model. So normally, so the model is defined by, so we have y equals to the so let me just insert a text box here, or at least we can write the relationship. So let me insert this and then let's write the relationship here. So normally, so y equals to mx plus c. This is the very basic. We can still do this. Y equals to a x plus b. Still, you can say y equals to b naught then plus b1 x. All these formats are simply saying this is a linear regression model. So don't bother much about whatever letters they're using. Let me explain here. So m is the slope, which is here. Then c is the intercept, which is already indicated here. Also in y(ax plus b), so a is the coefficient, the slope, that is in this case. Then b is the intercept. b1 is the intercept. Then b naught or b0 is the intercept. And then b1 is the slope. So in this case, if you wanted to develop the model, therefore we have so what is our y? You say quantity. Our quantity is being where quantity is our y. Quantity is being affected in this manner. The relationship between quantity and price is that quantity equals to so what is our b naught? That's our 25.1548. I think we can leave it at that. And then minus now my keyboard is misbehaving. Then minus 0.00377, just 7 of what is our x? It's our price. And this is the relation, this is the model. So if they ask you to do the model, this is the model. So just to make things a little bit spicy, just to make it look presentable, you may want to change this into italics and so forth and so on. So this is the model. So this is simple linear regression. You can do the same thing. You can pause the video, do the same thing here. Then I'll also try and find a way of providing that data. But if you follow up on my first video, I had shown on how I got that data. So, but I'll also find a way of I'll share the link to the data set so that you can actually pause the video and try on your own. So the next thing is this was just the linear model, two variables, just price and quantity, sales and profit, those two, just two variables. So the final thing that we want to do in this video is now do this, and so the rest of the relationships will also happen in the same way. Same thing that I did, that's it, nothing else. So let's do this last one. This is normally where most people get stuck. Today you'll get to know. So having this, so we need to identify our y and our x and our x's. So we said profit, so profit is our y, so we can actually insert a line here and say this is our y. Then unit price is our x, whatever, 1. Then sales is our x, x2. Then this becomes our x, our x3. So how do you arrange them now for you to get this x1, x2, x3? So you need to move them so that we have, let's start by moving this. I put my cursor here, then hold shift, then move. They'll change position. So then we can change this as well. Then this as well. Now we have them in good order. So the next thing is what? Go to data, then data analysis, then regression is already highlighted, then okay. What's our y? Let's change because now we have a new variable, we have a new range. So this is our y, that's our y. Then what is our x? So now in x, that's where most people get confused. You place your cursor here, highlight all the x's, but they have to have followed each other, all the columns. Then you highlight all the data for x. Then, of course, I'm not changing anything here, but I'd want to get a new sheet as well. So click OK. Then there we go. We have our output. So this is what we call multiple regression analysis. We have our unit price as our what? As our x1. We have sales as our x2. Then we have order quantity as our x3. Then the relationships are explained here. The relationship between profit and unit price is also negative. The higher the profit, the lower the profit. The higher the prices, the lower the profits, depending on actually what, because definitely high prices will attract less quantity demanded, and if you sell less, and you perhaps you expect to sell to get low profits. So this is just an example. This is how someone does multiple regression analysis. So let's go straight into writing the model. So let me insert a new let me insert a text box. Insert a text box. Yeah. So here we are. So there we are. Now, in a multiple regression model, normally there's just general format. So y equals to, let me just write in caps, y equals to b naught, that's our intercept, plus b1 x1, and then plus b2 x2 plus b3 x3. So you can even actually put multiplication signs in between so that actually you can know there's a multiplication. This is just a coefficient. Yeah, so that's it. You can actually insert, let me see if you can insert an equation here. No, I don't think we can in this time, but in Word you actually can do that. Yeah, so This is our equation. This is our general model. So plus this normally, so that you be more professional, plus an error term. So normally an epsilon, but in this case we can't. I don't know. Let me try if I can insert an epsilon here. Actually we can. We can actually insert an equation here. Yes. Oops. Okay. They want us to use the equations. Insert new equation. That's it. Yeah. Then okay, I don't know. This is weird. I've never used this function in Excel. So we can do a symbol, an epsilon. What is an epsilon? Oh my god, who is it? No. Anyway, let me just forget about it. Just put an error term. But normally it's an epsilon that symbolizes an error term. So that's it. So that's our model. So now in this case, what is our y? Now that's profit. Profit equals to, now profit equals to, what is our intercept? This is our intercept. Copy and paste then plus, what is our b? What is our b1? B1 is this, negative 2.41. Copy, paste, but what is our b1? We said is unit price, then plus our b2, then times, definitely times what? Times I also forgot to put a multiplication sign here. Yes, that way. Unit price times what am I doing next? Okay, those are cells. Yeah, and then plus, sorry, it should be minus what? Just copy, then paste. So that should be a minus. That's a single minus. Okay. Yes, so minus this times what? Order quantity. And that's it. So let me insert an equation so that it gets a little bit professional and presentable actually. Yeah, insert a new equation. Yes, there's a way in Word you can actually change this into something presentable, more presentable. So this is our equation. So we have done some multiple. So you can actually tell the boss that our profits are affected. Two factors of price. We change the price by 2 times, we lose profits by 1. By 1 if you change the profit. So okay, let me just try to interpret this. So an interpretation, this is easy. So the first interpretation is so profit against price is that a unit change in unit price will lead to a unit increase in unit price will lead to a 2.413954423 decrease in profit, and the vice versa happens. A unit increase in sales will lead to a 0.32 increase in profit. In terms of order quantity, a unit increase in order quantity, that is 1 unit, will lead to an 8.70 blah 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 decrease in profit. This is now how you also interpret what a multiple regression analysis, and that's it. Nothing else. That's simple. That demystified. Nothing else. You just need to understand how to do the process. Then the rest is easy. They tell you about the strength. You know what is happening. Now you notice something else. If you add more variables, you are likely to have a stronger multiple R. Why? Because the more you add variables, the more you get into reality. If you just say the gender, not really gender, but the gender of a student. Let's just use gender, or the age. The age of a student affects their grades. But that's not really the only factor that affects grades. Or maybe the attitude of a student towards mathematics, towards generally maybe numbers, maybe affects the grade. That's not the only factor that affects grade. But if the more factors you include time, I mean the attitude, yes, is one. Two, the time they spend reading that unit. Three, the number of units they do in that. So the more you add on the variables, the more your model becomes closer and closer to accurate. And that's why it's normally advisable as well. If you're doing analysis, add more and more variables. Then that way you make yourself more. I mean, you increase the chances of being of you being close to the actual relationship. Thank you so much. You please ensure you subscribe, you ensure you share, so that anytime I add new content, you get to see, and you get to, you get an alert, and of course, you get to ask also questions, something you do understand. That makes it easier for me to know what exactly next I'm going to teach. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Until next time.